I've spotted something.
Yeah, guess you're right.
Of course I'm right. Stick with me, kid. I won't steer you wrong.
We can go nowhere until you open the safe in the floor. The combination is...
A stone door lies flush with the floorboards. Etched whorls in the granite frame a delicate rotary dial. Gleaming under the dim light, the metallic dial almost seems to wink at you. Taking your time, you carefully enter the combination. The metallic sounds of the tumblers falling within the mechanism let you know you entered the code correctly.
Excellent. Follow me. Your time is at hand, Godwoken. Ancient runes, weird contraptions. This place is an Arcanist's dream.
Junk.
Opening the door, you see a selection of ingredients, thrown together in no particular order. After a quick rummage, you spot the blackroot nestled between the grated dragon's tongue and drudenay oil. You gather up the blackroot, obsidian lance, and ancient bowl, and kick the door of the cupboard closed. Meister is examining her wounds, prodding at this, wincing at that. Her face seems grim as she turns to you.
Do you know what it means to have the power of the divine, Godwoken? Sarcasm, my girl, is not one of the seven. No, becoming the divine means taking on the power of all the gods and the responsibility for all the races. The divine was created by the gods to shelter us from the void. The divine cannot use her power for anything else. Very well, then. Let's see if we can't snatch divinity from the jaws of the void. The ritual itself is quite simple. Drop some blackroot in the bowl, mix in a little blood, set the concoction aflame, and then inhale the smoke. Ignore any feelings of dizziness, burning in your lungs, or a dire sense of existential dread. They're all perfectly normal, although you will need to sacrifice a little sauce along the way. Everything you need is here. Ingredients in the cupboard. Sauce in the glowing fountain. Ritual in the tome by the bookcase. Even an incinerator to provide a flame.
The Meister looks back at her wounds, curiously prodding them as fresh blood oozes out, staining her claws.
Once, although not by a god woken. My assistant did not believe that one had to be chosen by a god to become divine.
She waves a bandaged hand absent-mindedly, wincing slightly.
A headstrong and thoughtless girl, but the experience was... was quite educational. From observing her, I gather that the ritual involves inhaling the smoke, a lot of screaming, and a rather sudden death. Well, certainly. It is not my place to police the stupidity of others. I have to admit I was curious. Imagine if it had been a success. Why, then anyone could have ascended, even I... Alas, success was beyond her reach. Quite fascinating to watch, though. I've never seen a body burn from the inside out before. And do not lose anything. These ingredients are rare indeed. I'm not hiking back out to the cloisterwood to fetch you more blackroot.
Oh, lucky find.
As you suck the smoke deep into your lungs, your vision starts to swim and cloud. There is an intense pounding in your head, and you can feel the world fading. As the world fades away, you lose all sense of being grounded. You reach out, but you could feel yourself falling slowly, sinking into the depths of your own soul.
Deepest recess of my soul. But it looks like the Hall of Echoes.
Bathed in the half-light of these starless barrens, you spot a figure you could only describe as a second self. It looks haggard and weak, its very voice but a feeble echo of your own.
Sabille, come closer, so that you may see me as I truly am. Look me in the eyes.
The apparition clasps your face in its shaking hands. You suddenly feel your eyes tingle. Everything becomes brighter, sharper. Blacks and whites become glorious bursts of color, then fade back into their accustomed spectrum.
Blind eyes, shine brightly. Speak the spell and see.
Strange mirror image of yourself. Before you stands the god Tir-Sendelius in all his spectral glory.
You know me, don't you? I saved you from drowning. I blessed you, made you powerful, and now I've come to seek some power in return. Your god-woken soul is my last refuge, my last bastion. May as well make the best of what you have to offer.
Tir-Sendelius nourishes himself from the source that abounds in your presence. You feel it deep down inside yourself.
Ah, yes. Just what I needed. I tell you, dying just doesn't become a god. The Void itself is hunting down the gods, leeching us in ways we never thought possible. Droplet by droplet, we are being drained. We're battling for our very survival. It's a battle we're losing, and should we truly lose, all will be cast into oblivion. Well, sort of. But by all means, let that be a motivator, not a cause for concern. You must realize, Sabille, that our fates are now as one, just as our souls are now as one. We are I. Together we are a force to be reckoned with. But if we seek to survive the onslaught of the Void, we stand no chance unless we become vastly more powerful than we are now. That means there is but one place we can go, the Well of Ascension. most certainly will be. The Well of Ascension is a lake, a pool of pure source in which the powers of the Seven lie united. We gave them up freely to create the first divine. Each of us donated half of that which makes us gods. To bathe in the lake is to become our chosen. That is where the road to divinity leads. And you must be the first to reach it at all costs. I know. Or did you think I chose you for those majestic cat eyes alone? One must never enter into any endeavor, though, without realizing the stakes. The Void is stronger than ever. A new divine won't be enough. You need to go to the Well of Ascension, not to bathe in the source of the Seven, but to take it. All of it. Only she who claims everything will be everything. The Void's doom, this world's liberator. It's very simple, really. They will either bow to you, or be undone. But of course that is what they are saying to their own God-woken as we speak. We both know they won't bow, just like we both know you will never bow to them. Only one can become a god strong enough to safeguard our world. One, at the expense of all others. So make no mistake, Sabine. Chances are the road to divinity will be paved with dead gods. Their blood on your blood-red hands. But don't let that dismay you. For these sins will be washed clean by the knowledge you committed them to save all of existence. To save your kin, and your loved ones, and the world they live in. They will be at your mercy, which is vastly preferable to you being at theirs, wouldn't you agree? So fret not. But revel in the promise of the lake. I will lead you there when you are ready, when you've become a true master of the Source, and speak the language of creation itself. Our journey will be fraught with peril. It is a pilgrimage of challenges that will require you to command Source like only a God-woken can, and wield its most powerful spells.
Hoarse laughter rolls and echoes into infinity.
Perhaps. But what is a pilgrimage after all, if not a journey of atonement, in search of enlightenment? Focus not on death and irony, Sabine. On life and ascension instead. We are I now. The spells you need to know I will teach you when you are ready. But first, you must learn to channel the Source in greater volumes. That is why you need to seek masters of the Source. You must make them teach you, so that you may become a master in turn. So return to Rivellon and seek out these sages where they dwell. Convince them to share with you their deep-seated bond with the Source. Once you have, you may return to me here. Something that will make you understand that for a god, there is precious little difference between the living and the dead. Source is. It is a constant, a subject of neither time nor transience. All of life is Source, and in Source it is, immortally so. You have the vision of a god now. Eyes that can see spirits, the souls of the dead made manifest in Source. Speak the spell during your peregrinations and you will see them. Where the dead lie, the dead linger. and so much more. But I'm no longer who I once was, bound to you as I've become. I will teach you what I can, but the knowledge that will expand the bounds of your soul, that you'll have to hunt for yourself. Best of luck, Sibyl.
A man's spirit stands before you, clad in scholarly dress. When your eyes meet, he staggers back, terrified.
Who has taken my books? My notes? They were here just a moment ago. Everything was peaceful again. Sweet Armadia, why do you test your chronicler so, haunting me with spirits? Am I cursed? Has the goddess turned her back on me?
The chronicler shudders, looking sick to his stomach.
Again. This again. I sleep, then I wake, and another piece of the world is gone. When we were in Reaper's Eye, when I saw those tomes and scrolls, I was myself again. For a moment, I was alive, but the vision always fades. I'm just a remnant of the Empress's ambition. Why can't I escape? Why is there never a way out? Me? I archived Rivellon's history. I used ink to immortalize greatness on the page. A lizard empress sought my services. She needed an ancient design restored from a damaged text. She told me the design was brilliant. When the armor was forged, the empress showed it to me, and she trapped me inside. Consumed me. If it wasn't for me, the armor wouldn't exist at all. This is my fault. If I knew the way, I'd shout until every god heard me. But I have no idea. I simply want this to end.
The chronicler puts his head in his hands, collapsing in silent defeat. The Meister stares intently at you. Her eyes are tired and bruised, but determined.
Still alive? Gods above, there might be something to you after all.
She leans in, her bloody tongue flickering hungrily about your face.
Tell me, what did you see? What you know?
She sighs impatiently as you hack up the last of the green smoke.
You can't channel enough sauce? Gods be damned, why couldn't you have a nice simple problem? Finding an orc to dance the hornpipe, perhaps? if I were looking for a master of mirth, you would be ideal. Alas, there are no masters of source here. The river of my source has been dammed. My link to the font from which it flows, severed. So we must seek alternatives. Alas, the only source masters not yet hauled off to Fort Joy or turned into meat puppets are those too dangerous or cunning for the Magisters to contain. Sorcerers that allowed their power to corrupt them. Many are wicked, cruel, vile, and generally not good teacher material, but we may have no others to turn to. Were the circumstances any different, I would indeed agree. However, it is the path we walk, no matter what the cost. No matter what is asked of you.
The Meister doubles over in a violent coughing fit, struggling for breath. After a few moments, she regains her composure, wiping a thin smear of blood from the corner of her mouth.
No matter what is asked of you, you must learn from them. Alas, I am. And we do not have time to nitpick morals. The Magisters have kept ledgers with all known sorcerers, especially the powerful ones not yet captured. They would be an invaluable resource, but do be careful not to get caught. I was their guest for a time, and I promise you the gallows was the most comfortable part of the experience. And if their barracks turns out to be as empty as their skulls, just try to keep an ear to the ground. There may still be powerful sorcerers hiding in these lands.
As she speaks, one of her wounds reopens, a dark red stain spreading across her tunic. She hisses in frustration and starts to bind the gash.
I wish there was more I could do, but in this condition, I would be more a hindrance than a boon. Godspeed, and remember, do whatever it takes.
The Meister sits slumped in her chair. You notice that some of her scales have dropped to the floor. What news? Can you channel enough source? Are you powerful enough to proceed? Of course, my supply has rather gone up in smoke. You can find more in the cloister woods to the northwest of Driftwood. Hardly a charming place, but it grows nowhere else. The Magisters kept records of each and every sorcerer in the area. The good, the bad, and the dangerously insane. You have the privilege of seeking out the final of the three. Break into the Magisters' barracks, find their records, and seek out Masters of the Source. Without their help, you will never have the strength to travel within your own soul. Remember, these are dangerous creatures, but it is vital that you learn what they can teach you, whatever the cost. spirit keeps glancing back. A difficult task since his shoulders are tense as iron.
How can I help? I don't have a choice. You're the one wearing those gauntlets, dragging me around this way and that. I cannot do anything to prevent it. We are bound together.
The spirit of an elegant elven woman materializes before you. She seems surprised.
You can see me. A god woken in my presence. You honor me.
The spirit looks at you regretfully.
It is hard to hear of such power and not covet it for yourself. I lie to myself and convince myself that I am special. But I am not special. I am dead.
Monster! Monster! Poor little Peeper. Poor little monster Peeper, baby. There's only one way. Yes, there's only one thing to do. Papa! Then you'd better be the best mama you can be. Care for Peeper and stroke him and bring him straight to his papa. Yes, yes, yes! He wanders, he roosts, but he is special. He can help Peeper, can keep him safe.
History is written by victors. Do
Doubled
not
over
doubt.
in agony, the shivering Magister spirit mumbles to himself, tightly clutching 3 golden stalks in one fist. Noting the attention, he straightens, revealing insignia spelling Kinnet, and a jagged wound spilling his innards upon the ground. He reaches a ghostly hand into your chest and squeezes your heart. You become Kinnet, his memories flooding over you and replacing your own. Warmth, comfort. You are Kinnet, playing cards with your mates in a cozy barracks. You stagger to tipsy attention as a white-clad Magister commands that one of your troop seek a lost caravan. It's a one-man job, a job no man wants. Your sly-eyed troop leader holds out straws to you and the others. Who will investigate? You feel the short straw and hear them shout, "Kinnet!" You know what that means. A lonely traipse in the cold dark. You dawdle and grumble all the way, sobering as you find the overturned caravan. Massacre. Your lantern reveals ravaged corpses in every direction. Inhaling sharply, you smell a thick black stench you remember secondhand from the few void-woken corpses your troops have found. No. Kinnet's tears fall from your eyes as you recognize his beloved weapon master, lifeless. A dark thicket rustles to your left. A claw rakes savage stripes across your guts. As Kinnet dies, all goes black. Staggering back from Kinnet's deathly grasp, only your own blood now pumps through your heart. With your living eyes, you see him trembling in front of you, desperately holding out 3 straws. As you pluck the short straw from his hands, Kinnet weeps with relief. His wound disappears in turn, and he is restored to the model image of a strapping young soldier. He looks around, then looks at you, and then he smiles. Smiling broadly, Kinnet fades away.
I'll show you. Lohar's boys are no match for Magisters. Take that!
The spirits of a Magister and a dwarf are locked in ethereal combat. Their vicious blows make no impact, yet they struggle on. Mid-snarl, the dwarf spies your presence and staggers back to address you.
Sorcerer! You must hate the Reds as much as I do, eh? Rightly so. Reds had sorcerers locked up tight in that caravan. And you know where they were sending them. You look like you've been there yourself.
The Magister lunges for the dwarf, his exasperation clear.
Anna, you saw it with your own eyes. You know sorcerer's law, Voidwoken, and you know we'd all still be alive if you hadn't attacked our caravan. Before it all, Voidwoken stole the sorcerers along the cliffs, headed for Seven knows where.
Not to flip your flops or nothing, but 'tis more that my boss Lohar is against magisters than for sorcerers, if you know what I mean.
The Magister snorts in disdain.
Aloha, I should have known. Sorcerer, if you want to stay alive around these parts, you'll stay far, far away from that walking vermin. Though, on the other hand, maybe you should go stand near him. Maybe the Voidwoken could take him out where we failed. Ha!
The dwarf eyes you steadily and silently, his mouth a straight line and his eyes like marbles of steel. The Magister shrugs.
Well, if I knew that, we'd have taken him out long ago. All I can say is, he's somewhere in Driftwood, and everything he touches turns into annihilation.
Oblivious to your presence, the two spirits weave their dance of hatred. The dwarf turns to you, a quizzical look in his bright eyes.
History will remember you Reds with more venom than even the Black Ring.
History.
The bull lazily chews non-existent card.
Do not doubt our divine order.
The bull lazily chews non-existent card. It registers your presence.
Well, guess I should have seen that coming. Dying, of course. As soon as they sent me pulling that there wagon, I should have known this was how things was going to end. Of course, I can see the future, and I did see this, but I honestly thought I was sleeping. You sure you want to know? Alright, let me have a look-see here.
The bull shakes itself, swallows the card, clears its throat.
Well, it's going to end. Let me think about that now, too. Yeah. Okay. Right, here we go. It'll vanish. It'll be there, and then it won't be there no more. I've no idea how long that'll take. Could happen any moment. Could take millennia.
The bull shrugs.
Here. I don't suppose you could do me a favour and unhitch this here harness so as I can make my way to the Field of Echoes.
The bull nods its thanks and gently fades away.
I knew you'd say yes.
History will remember you Reds with more venom than even the Black Ring.
History? History is written by victors. Do not doubt our divine order will prevail. I'll show you. Lohar's boys are no match for Magisters. Take that. You dare strike me? Step back and watch.
The spirit floats in front of you, his eyes unfocused and darting from side to side. Looking down at his mangled corpse at your feet, you see that the front is relatively unmarked, but his back has been eviscerated. Long, jagged cuts run the length of his torso. The spirit's eyes move in your direction, trying to focus, but he seems to look right through you.
The voice. Oh, I can still hear it in the dark. I can hear it whispering. He won't stop. His voice was everywhere. It danced with the screams. Insects with a dwarf's tongue. They came from above. They laughed as they cut us down.
The spirit doubles up, raking his hands across his face, ghostly nails cutting deep into spectral skin.
No, I can hear it. Not the echoes. I can hear it. The voice. It's here.
The spirit shudders and cries, tears running down his cheeks.
Oh, Divine Lucian, protect me. You seven ancient gods, please. Don't let it get me.
The spirit's eyes dart left and right. It reaches tentatively a hand out for a moment, but thinks better of it and turns away.
Now I swim. Monsters gone. Swim. Free. Swim. Forever. It died. Eaten. By a monster in the deep. I see. I was his monster in the deep. We all have our monsters. Now I swim.
Sabine! Good to see you again. Of course. Told you I would, didn't I? Sure thing. I'll...
History is written by victors. Do not doubt our divine order.
Running off, like Barnby and Sam.
Focus!
Hurts, doesn't it?
Your maker.
All whoever's been disappearing majesties. Well, I'll not be sleeping tonight.
I'll give it to you later.
Turn your ears good.
Thanks, but no thanks. I see enough horror every day around here.
The shimmering ghost of a lizard magister turns her gaze upon you. She holds your stare, boring into your mind, searching the blacks of your eyes for the secrets of your soul. But in so doing, she shows you hers. You are Zeushan, a young lizard magister, devoted to the Order. More than this, you are in love with a comrade, a human man of wit and kindness and sweet disposition, who goes by the name of Boris. You are Zeushan once more. Alexander dies. Worse, your human comrades look at you askance, as if his murder was your fault. Even Boris turns against you. When he's posted to Fort Joy, he does not say goodbye. Your heart is broken. Posted to the graveyard shift in the dark of night on the outskirts of town, you do your duty diligently. But your heart is no longer in it. So when you catch a couple of young sorcerers fleeing Raymond's net, you see how deeply in love they are. You do not turn them in. You help them to escape. But in the morning, they are caught and under torture give you up. They go to Fort Joy. You are hanged right here.
Ugh, mating season. Again. If I have to deal with one more buck looking to court me, I'll take a chunk out of his ear.
The Meister sits slumped in her chair. You notice that some of her scales have dropped to the floor.
What news? Can you channel enough sort? Then why,
Your animal gave me shivers, it did. What those lone wolves get up to.
Oh great, a citizen. Can't you see I'm on a break here?
She narrows her eyes and pins you with a bitter stare.
You ever seen a void woken up close? I have. Barely escaped with my life.
She raises her eyebrows, clearly impressed, despite herself.
It's always sorcerers. They get into every nook and cranny and lure those void woken out.
As if anticipating a negative response, she holds up her hands.
Now, don't get me wrong. I'm sure life's no picnic for them either. But I've heard it all before. We've got a whole realm to protect and sorcerers just can't be trusted.
She nods at you curtly and turns away. Head nodding drowsily, the Magister brings her voluminous sleeve up to her face. She sniffs loudly and suddenly jerks to attention, eyes red-rimmed with zeal, and something else.
They won't take me unawares. I'm ready for anything. See? I haven't stepped in. Well, I'm ready. That's what matters. Vigilance! Why, whoever's snatching magisters off the street and disappearing them? 6 lost in a week. 6! Need to be ready. Ready! Ready! Ready to protect!
Waving you away, she cranes her neck to scan all around her, jaw clenched and eyes flickering.
read a book last night, Brianna. Claws of Deceit. You heard of it? Gave me shivers, it did. What those lone wolves get up to.
You read a book last night while you're supposed to be guarding the rest of us sleeping?
Well, no worries there. It was keeping me wide awake, so it was. I'll give it to you later. Turn your hairs grey.
Thanks, but no thanks. I see enough horror every day around here.
I read a book last night, Brianna. Claws of Deceit. You heard of it? Gave me shivers.
Read a book last night.
Oh, we dwarves had a kingdom, and we will have it back. I won't always be sweeping, I'll be riding horseback. We dwarves had a kingdom, and a proud knight was I. I won't always be sweeping, for my kingdom I'll die.
The dwarf keeps singing his wistful tune, oblivious to your presence.
Heavens to Bessie, another one. More queer folk than commoners in Driftwood these days. Steady on, love. Didn't mean no insult by it. Can't help but notice, is all. Ain't hard for a bull to tell. I bet you don't even know which of them voices is your own. We beasts can smell the others on you. Anyway, tavern's just down the road. Can't miss it. 'Cause that's where all the queer ones go. Clanking dwarves, dozy lizards. I even saw him drag a void-woken down there in the dead of night. Don't know what's going on in that tavern, but it must be a freak show in there.
Maybe I'm glad I ain't pulling carts of stinking fish round no more. But what's a beast to do if not pull? Well now, wouldn't that be grand? Fresh grass every summer, maize all winter, and... Wait, why are you looking at me like that?
Smells worse over here than a dozen rotten eggs dropped in a vat of vinegar.
Then don't come over. Not like you're buying anything.
Ifan Ben Mesd is our living breeze. I don't know how you got free, but it'll be back to the joy with you, and no mistake.
She considers your offer.
How much? So much? You have to be hiding something, and I'm sure Dallas will be well able to find out what that something is. Now, come on. Back into a cage where you belong. What? What?
The Magister is extremely flustered. She blushes bright red, red as a Magister's robe.
I want nothing of the sort. You hear? Nothing like that. No. Get away. Get out of here. Get! To think that lunatic Siva is loose again. We won't be so gentle when we catch her this time.
Once this was a fishmonger's or a tackle shop.
You're safe among friends. Never forget it. Smells worse over here than a dozen rotten eggs dropped in a vat of vinegar.
Then don't come over. Not like you're buying anything.
If I don't come visit your ton, who will?
Wouldn't you like to know?
Keeping it together, Bree? I'm all right, as long as I don't. You're safe among friends. Never forget it. How are you holding up?
Not in any mood to talk about it.
Keeping it together, Bree? I'm all right, as long as I don't think too much. You're safe among friends. Never forget it. Smells worse over here than a dozen rotten eggs dropped in a vat of vinegar.
Then don't come over. Not like you're buying anything.
If I don't come visit your ton, who will?
Wouldn't you like to know?
You're a delicate one, ain't you? Hope the smell don't drive you off.
Good day to you.
Keep it together, Bree.
I'm all right, as long as I don't think about it too much.
You're safe among friends. Never forget it.
My word, but a pretty thing like you shouldn't look so exhausted. Perhaps you could use a touch of magic?
What kind of rat
The kind that don't fancy starving along with the rest of this town. It's all well and good for you with your rations. We've got to take what we can get.
Keep talking to Wolf and you'll end up eating sawdust from a cell floor.
Keeping it together, Bree.
I'm all right, as long as I don't think about it too much.
You're safe among friends. Never forget it. Smells worse over here than a dozen rotten eggs dropped in a vat of vinegar.
Well, don't come over. Not like you're buying anything.
If I don't come visit your ton, who will?
Wouldn't you like to know?
Keeping it together, Bree.
I'm all right, as long as I don't think about it too much.
You're safe among friends. Never forget it. Keeping it together, Bree.
I'm all right, as long as I don't think about it too much.
You're safe among friends. Never forget it.
Have you anything that will protect against void wipe?
I can turn aside fire.
Smells worse over here than a dozen rotten eggs dropped in a vat of vinegar.
God knows what the stuff must be.
Yep.
Wouldn't you like to know?
Lucian's day coming and I can't afford tatters. What's the world coming to?
Keeping it together, Bree.
I'm all right, as long as I don't think about it too much. You needing supplies? I'd stock up if I were you. It's madness out there. Never seen anything like it. Anything more?
Smells worse over here than a dozen rotten eggs dropped in a vat of vinegar.
Well, don't come over. Not like you're buying anything.
If I don't come visit your ton, who will?
Wouldn't you like to know?
You've not called for the junk you sell, then?
Junk?
Why, I offer nothing less than the wisdom of the ancients, and
Vapid fiction, along with a large helping of ham.
How you holding up?
Not in any mood to talk about it.
Tell me, have you heard any news?
Nothing good. The void woken are everywhere.
Until later, then.
Worse over here than a dozen rotten eggs dropped in a barrel.
Yes.
Keeping it together, Bree.
I'm all right. Glad to see you well. Until later, then.
How you holding up?
Not in any mood to talk about it.
Keeping it together, Bree.
I'm all right, as long as I don't think about it too much.
You're safe among friends. Never forget it. Smells worse over here than a dozen rotten eggs dropped in a barrel. They don't come with a lot of cold for the companies.
why, I offer nothing less than the wisdom of the ancients.
Glad to see you well.
Vapid fiction, along with a large helping of ham.
Until later, then.
How you holding up?
Not in any
Hey,
mood to
this
talk about
news! Fresh from the War Owl! Hear all about it! Many a latest, my friend. The war, the bishop, the queen. What tickles your fancy? Ain't looking too good for them lizards. Word is, the Divine Order's gonna hit the ancient empire and hit it hard. Don't need to tell you, of all people, them sauce-loving lizards don't stand a chance. Ain't no one left standing when you treat them to death, Fog. Seven save us. Stabbed in the back he was by them vile, low-born, treacherous seekers. Kill 'em all, I say. Do 'em like Magister Raymond did old Lady Seaver. That'll teach them traitors. I mean, they doomed us all, didn't they? The son of the Divine is dead. Gone. Who'll save us now? Jolly Justinia, Queen of the Dwarves. Ha! Scourge, more like. Here's 20 or so noble gentlemen. No one knows what they did wrong, if anything, and she has them stripped and whipped all the way to the execution grounds. Didn't even give them the dignity of the sword. No, ma'am. Had them all hung. Real slow-like. You ask me, and I say she's mad as a mink with its tail on fire. Queen or no queen.
The Silent Watcher's jaws clench and slacken again and again for no visible reason. Two empty eyes stare straight ahead like the black button eyes of a child's stuffed doll.
Smells worse over here than a dozen rotten eggs dropped in a barrel. I don't come visit your ton, who will?
Wouldn't you like to know?
Tell me, have you heard any news?
Nothing good. The Voidwoken are everywhere.
Keeping it together, Bree.
Thank the Divine you're here to protect us. Wars are
yes,
brewing,
yes.
my friend, and we may find ourselves on different sides, in which case prices will go up. Buy now while you still can. Special prices for you while we're still friends. War is hell, my friend, but it's very good for business. Good luck to you.
Keeping it together, Bree.
I'm all right.
You're safe among friends. Never forget it. Smells worse over here than a dozen rotten eggs dropped in a vat of vinegar.
Then don't come over. Not like you're buying anything.
If I don't come visit your ton, who will?
Wouldn't you like to know?
Queen Justinia executes 2 dozen noblemen for insubordination.
Keeping it together, Bree.
I'm all right, as long as I don't think too much.
You're safe among friends. Never forget it.
Hear ye! Hear ye! Divine order to march against the ancient empire!
Smells worse over here than a dozen rotten eggs dropped in a vat of vinegar.
Then don't come over. Not like you're buying anything.
If I don't come visit your ton, who will?
Wouldn't you like to know?
Keeping it together, Bree.
I'm all right, as long as I don't think too much.
You're safe among friends. Never forget it.
Hear ye! Hear ye! Queen Justinia executes 2 dozen noblemen for insubordination!
Keeping it together, Bree.
I'm all right, as long as I don't think about it too much.
You're safe among friends. Never forget it. Smells worse over here than a dozen rotten eggs dropped in a vat of vinegar.
Then don't come over. Not like you're buying anything.
If I don't come visit your ton, who will?
Wouldn't you like to know?
Bishop Alexander was slain by Seegers! Culprits didn't lie!
I'm all right, as long as I don't think too much.
You're safe among friends. Never forget it.
Good day to you.
you holding up?
Not in any mood
More
to talk
humans!
You needing supplies? Until later, then.
The dog lies there quietly, clearly in great pain.
What are you looking at? I'm sick here. Get lost.
It snaps at your hand.
Got a pain in the neck. Got a bad pain in the neck.
It flinches. A low, threatening growl builds within its throat. Under the collar, you find the sharpened points of metal rivets, gouging the poor dog's skin. The dog bares its teeth at you and growls. The dog gives you a long, hard stare, but does not bite you. Yet. The dog goes to bite your hand, and then realizes the pain is gone.
Hey, I feel okay. Thanks, woman. Think I'll wander off now? Here, before I go, what can I do to show my gratitude?
You're safe among friends. Never forget it.
Master did. Huh? Wait a minute. Master hurted me? Excuse me a minute. I'm gonna go now, but first I have a thing I need to do.
He turns to his master.
You bad man, you!
Penny for a grieving beggar whose dog ran away. God damn it! That was my livelihood. Penny for a grieving beggar? I reckon I'm owed it here.
You're safe among friends. Never forget it.
No.
What kind of rat would sell such filth?
You wouldn't do that, would you? Oh, yes. You would do that, wouldn't you? I couldn't prevail upon you to change your mind, could I?
You're talking dwarves and you end up eating sawdust from a cell floor.
How you holding up?
Not in any mood to talk about it.
He gives you a cool look, then rummages in his pocket. He counts the money out and hands it over.
That's your lot. Go on then. Get lost, you freeloader. I'm working here.
Keeping it together, Free.
I'm all right, as long as I don't think about it too much.
You're safe among friends. Never forget it. Smells worse over here than a dozen rotten eggs dropped in a vat of vinegar.
Buying or selling? Capital. Good luck to you.
If I don't come visit your ton, who will?
Wouldn't you like to know?
Bishop Alexander was slain by singers. Culprits
Keeping it together, Free.
I'm all right, as long as I don't think about it too much.
safe among friends. Never forget it.
Hear ye! Hear ye! Queen Justinia executes 24 noblemen for insubordination!
Keeping it together, Bree.
I'm all right, as long as I don't think too much.
You're safe among friends. Never forget it. Smells worse over here than a dozen rotten eggs dropped in a vat of vinegar.
Then don't come over. Not like you're buying anything.
If I don't come visit your ton, who will?
Wouldn't you like to know?
Keeping it together, Bree.
I'm all right, as long as I don't think too much.
You're safe among friends. Never forget it.
Bishop Alexander was slain by singers! Culprits still at large! Hear ye! Hear ye! Queen Justinia
Keeping it together, Bree.
noblemen
I'm all right, as long as I don't think too much.
You're safe among friends. Never forget it. Smells worse over here than a dozen rotten eggs dropped in a vat of vinegar.
Then don't come over. Not like you're buying anything.
If I don't come visit your ton, who will?
Wouldn't you like to know?
Keeping it together, Bree.
I'm all right, as long as I don't think about it too much.
You're safe among friends. Never forget it.
Your fish stinks of the void. What kind of rat would sell such filth?
The kind that don't fancy starving, along with the rest of this town. It's all well and good for you with your rations. We've got to take what we can get.
Keep talking, dwarf, and you'll end up eating sawdust from a cell floor.
Ah.
Keeping it together, Bree.
I'm all right, as long as I don't think about it too much.
You're safe among friends. Never forget it.
Queen Justinia executes 24 noblemen for insubordination!
Smells worse over here than a dozen rotten eggs dropped in a vat of vinegar.
Then don't come over. Not like you're buying anything.
If I don't come visit your ton, who will?
Wouldn't you like to know?
Keeping it together, Bree.
I'm all right, as long as I don't think about it too much.
You're safe among friends. Never forget it. Keeping it together, Bree.
Then don't come over. Not like you're buying
Wars are
anything.
brewing, my friend, and I'll stand by your side.
They
But
don't
prices
come
will
visit
go
your
up, even for one of our own. Buy now and buy often.
Smells worse over here than a dozen rotten eggs dropped in a vat of vinegar.
Then don't come over. Not like you're buying anything.
If I don't come visit your ton, who will?
Wouldn't you like to know?
I'm all right, as long as you're safe among
Tell me,
friends.
have you heard any
Never
news?
forget it.
Nothing good. The Void Woken are everywhere. Thank the Divine you're here to protect us.
Yes, of course.
How you holding up?
Not in any mood to talk about it.
Keeping it together, Bree. I'm all right, as long as I don't keep hurting too much. You're safe among friends. Never forget it. Smells worse over here than a dozen rotten eggs dropped in a vat of vinegar.
Then don't come over. Not like you're buying anything.
If I don't come visit your ton, who will?
Wouldn't you like to know?
Keeping it together, Bree. I'm all right, as long as I don't hurt too much. You're safe among friends.
Your flesh stinks of the void. What kind of rat would sell such filth?
The kind that don't fancy starving along with the rest of this town. It's all well and good for you with your rations. We've got to take what we can get.
How you holding up?
Keep talking, dwarf, and you'll end up eating sawdust.
Not in any mood to talk about it. Buying or selling?
Keeping it together, Bree. I'm all right. You're safe. Smells worse over here than a dozen rotten eggs dropped in a vat of vinegar.
Then don't come over. Not like you're buying anything.
If I don't come visit your ton, who will?
Wouldn't you like to know?
Keeping it together, Bree. I'm all right, as long as I don't hurt too much. You're safe safe among friends. Never forget.
How you holding up?
Not in any mood to talk about it.